Hi everyone, Allyson here with the Devil's Lake Chamber. Today I am at the Fort Totten historic site with Mary. She is the president out here. So to get us started, I wanted to talk a bit about this site and how it got started and some history.
Sure, love to talk about it, of course. So this is Fort Totten, the cavalry fort that was established in the 1860s. So it's been around over 150 years. The fort was, of course, initially a military outpost, pretty isolated in its day, let me tell you. And then later, when it was decommissioned, basically, it became a boarding school for American Indian children, primarily children from the Turtle Mountain area of North Dakota, so Chippewa, and then also Dakota children who came more from this area around Devil's Lake. So that was the start of the Fort Totten, the fort itself, and what it morphed into, if you will, after its tenure as a fort. But in addition to the fort, which is operated by by the state of North Dakota, we also have a foundation that is associated with the fort that helps to support and sustain and ensure that everyone who can and wants to have access to this wonderful treasure, historical treasure, not just for North Dakota, but an American historical treasure, has the opportunity to be here. So we, on the North Dakota Fort Totten State Historical Society Foundation, help to augment the work of the state, because the site itself is, as I said, a state site. Although, as I mentioned, it's really a gem. It's the best preserved fort of its kind. It's not a reproduction. These are the original buildings, and it's a really unique opportunity for people to come through and experience what it was like to be here, either during the cavalry era or during the American Indian boarding school era.
Very interesting. Then I wanted to go on to how someone would become a member of your foundation to interact with the site.
Yes, so there are a couple of opportunities. First of all, we do an annual mailing for membership to people that have been members historically, and to invite new folks to join. People can join either as individuals and families at a rate for them, or they can join as a business. And they, in return, have access to the fort that entire summer, no cost. So they can come in, that's a benefit as a member of the foundation. And also, they have advanced information that's made available to them at the very beginning of the season, before information about activities out here is made available more broadly. So they can plan if they want to bring their employees out, if they want to bring family members out. They can kind of plan depending on what the activities are that are underway. Additionally, on our website, tottentrailin.com, that website has an opportunity, a button on the very first page that you can just click on to become a member of the foundation. We have one other opportunity, and that's to become a member of the board itself, and that's what I'm the president of. It's a fairly small group of individuals, but people who are really interested in history in the local area, who want to become a little bit more involved, can come and can participate with the fort in that capacity as well as a board member. Those board terms generally last for a couple of years, and it's actually a lot of fun. People come out and we have our meetings at the fort, and it's a real immersion again in some of the local history. An experience you simply cannot get almost any place else, because, as I said, this fort is unique. It's unique in the sense that these buildings are not rebuilt. They are the original buildings. This inn where we're seated right now, which was formerly cavalry officer quarters and also used during the American Indian boarding school era, this building people can actually stay in. It's a little bit of an equivalent of being in Europe and staying in a castle, in my mind. This is staying in a piece of American history. I don't know another place in the 50 states where you could do that. And we've had guests here from Canada, across the United States, other places too, who've come and actually stayed in this inn as a bed and breakfast.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then since we did just touch on the Totten Trail Inn, how can someone book staying here? When are you guys open till? Is it seasonally?
Sure.
Tell us a little bit about
So
that.
when this inn is open is steadily from Memorial Day weekend. People can book all the way through Labor Day weekend. We have 10 rooms in the inn. A lot of times we have family members that will come. They'll book a set of rooms. They might want to have a family reunion here. This is a large room we're seated in right now that people can use for different kinds of events. So in terms of booking those rooms, that's our regular season. But we're also available on sort of by appointment, by request, during the rest of the year too. Sometimes people will book this room and some of the guest rooms maybe in October because the fall here in the Devil's Lake region is beautiful. Maybe even in the winter if they're doing a little ice fishing and they want their family to have, to have a place where they can have access to a kitchen with everything that they need, as well as guest rooms, as well as meeting rooms. And of course we have Wi-Fi here, so you can stay in touch even though you're in a building with lots of rich history that dates back over 150 years, and nevertheless, you still can stay connected. So in terms of actually having access to setting up a room reservation or booking this large room or other parts of this inn for things like bridal showers, business retreats, school events, etc. This room can be booked or the B&B can be booked through the guest rooms through tottentrailinn.com, our website, or to book the guest room specifically, that can happen through Airbnb. So this site is listed on Airbnb. If you go to Fort Totten, for example, put that in, it'll take you straight to our website or more broadly in the Devil's Lake area. But easy access Airbnb or through our website, and phone numbers available on both sites in case people have questions. But again, if they want to book it for an event, then they need to go to our website, tottentrailinn.com.
Okay. Perfect. And then is there any fees or anything for someone to book an event here?
There are fees depending. They can book an event here that would last an hour. They can book an event here that would last half day or full day if they wish. And there are fees. And so if there is an interest, then they should just go ahead and make that phone call to the phone number that's listed on our website. This is a foundation that operates this inn, so it's not for profit. We're not here to make money, but the funds that may go right back into the foundation to continue to expand the availability, to replace items that need to be replaced. It's not a for-profit operation, it is a not-for-profit. So actually, if you book here, you're contributing to maintaining this fantastic historic site.
Which is very neat. And then going on, I wanted to talk to you about what else there is to do and see here on this site.
Yeah, so if you walk through this inn, it's so cool because every one of the guest rooms are appointed with different decorations that are period pieces. So in other words, you get a sense walking in that of course you've just entered a room that has a theme generally, but that all of the pieces around that theme are really tied to the period of either the school, boarding school days, or prior to that, to the Cavalry Fort itself. Because this building that we're seated in right now was, as I mentioned, officers' quarters. So the rooms reflect that period of time. So part of what people do is they just tour through this building because it's really interesting, along the lines of what I just described. But if somebody stays here, they have free access once they've paid their guest fee. They have free access to the rest of the fort, and there are 16 buildings that comprise this fort. Many of them are open to the public. There's a museum. There are the barracks where soldiers stayed, hundreds of soldiers that came through in the mid-1860s and to the 70s and so on, that stayed in those rooms. There's the classroom where students would learn, one of many rooms where students would learn vocational activities. So you have access to the entire fort. And frankly, one of my most favorite things to do is to sit on the porch and take all of this in after hours when the fort is closed. If you're a guest here, you have access to just sitting out there and getting and sort of walking back in time in your own mind, well, what was it like for those hundreds of enlisted soldiers or the officers who were in this very isolated location, or what was it like for the 400 plus children that would stay here because they had over 400 kids at different points in time that were actually staying here to go to school in a boarding school situation, which with all of the features involved with that at the time. So those are the opportunities right here that they've got access to, all of it, no cost, in addition to the fees that they pay to stay here or to use this room for special events, or to use this building for special events. In addition, just down the road, there's White Horse Hill. That's a stone's throw away. They can see large creatures, great and small. If somebody comes to stay here, they've got quick, easy access just a few minutes away to everything from big animals, bison, to small prairie dogs in the prairie dog town. So there's that as well. And of course, we're situated on an Indian reservation, the Spirit Lake Indian Reservation, and that in itself is interesting. We've got a college right here locally that is available on the reservation, and it's a beautiful building if you have the chance to walk through it and to see where some of the local students are learning.
Nice. There's a lot to offer out here.
There is.
And then you recently became a chamber member. The site did. Could you tell us what you value about that partnership and also the business community?
It's a great partnership. Sometimes I think people think about the membership in chambers of commerce being something that businesses do, for-profit businesses. Makes perfect sense. But in this case, we are a not-for-profit. We are a not-for-profit foundation. And there's a great advantage to not-for-profit foundations to be members of the chamber as well. One, because we get to know some of the other businesses in the community and they get to know about us. But I have to say that one of the real advantages is not just getting information out about this wonderful opportunity, an opportunity to stay here and to visit the fort through videos like this, but it's also been terrific because when I've had a question, when our board has needed some information, the staff of the Devil's Lake Chamber of Commerce could not be more responsive, more quickly, with more useful insights to help us do our job better, which is really all about sharing with a broader community, even in the international community, this one-of-a-kind experience to come here, to stay, to visit, to learn a little bit more about our country's shared history. And so our membership with the Chamber of Commerce has helped us to advance that information sharing so that more people know about this site.
Well, we definitely appreciate working with you and everything that you've become for us. So I wanted to thank you for your time today, and I look forward to coming back out to the site this summer.
As many times as you wish. Open every single day, 7 days a week.
Thank you.
You bet.